everyone, and welcome to the Red Brick House. I'm so glad to have you here joining me today. I plan on making my daughter some new pajamas for summer. And so I'm going to do that without a pattern. I've done that a couple of times before. I've made a few other things without patterns. And so I'm going to try to do that today, and we'll see how it turns out. And so I have taken her to the store, and she picked out this really cute, I'll show up close pictures of it in a minute, but it's so cute. It's little kittens fabric, little kittens and butterflies. And then she chose, this a little bright, so put your sunglasses on, but she chose this hot pink cheetah print fabric. It's so funny. This is not my style, but she loves it and they're her pajamas, so I hope that she really enjoys them. And so I'm going to be using some of her old pajamas to use for this pattern. So I have here an old pair of her bottoms, just a pair of little pajama bottoms, and I'm going to use these as my pattern for the shorts. And then she wanted the shorts and the tank top rather than a nightgown. And so then I have a dress here that fits her really well. It's just a cute little dress. And I'm going to use this for the width and for the most of the pattern for the tank top. And then I'm going to use this little tank top here to get the length, because this is a good length for her, but it's a little bit narrow. So I have 3 different things here that I'm going to utilize to make my own pattern for her. Now, you could cut this out on paper. I'm probably not going to do that. I'm probably just going to cut right into the fabric using these, but I will make them a little bit larger than what these are, because these fit her really good, and I want these pajamas to last a couple, maybe 2 years, 3 if I'm lucky. She's 11, so she's not growing terribly fast right now, and so we'll see, but that's my plan. I'm going to make them a little bit bigger than these so that hopefully they'll fit her at least 1 more year. We'll see. Now this fabric, both of these fabrics are 100% cotton, and so I think that'll be really nice and airy and, you know, cooling, not very hot, because we have really hot summers here. Right now we're in the middle of May when I'm filming this, and it's already, our highs are about 88 to 92 right now. So it's pretty normal for us this time of year, and it's only going to get hotter. So I'm hoping that these will keep her nice and cool and comfortable for the summer. So let's get started. Okay, friends, so only prep work I've really done here is I have ironed the fabric. Now, in a perfect world, you really should pre-wash your fabric when you're making clothes, especially when you have 100% cotton like this that can fade a little, shrink a little bit. I didn't do that today, but I am going to cut them out larger than what I think I'm going to need. So just keep that in mind. But it's a really good idea to pre-wash your fabric before you start to cut it out and sew it. So I have this fabric, this kitten fabric on top. Both of these fabrics I'm using today have a pattern that needs to be upright. So I have them matching because I'm going to cut them out at the same time together. And so here's the cheetah print. Also, it's right side up for me at the way I'm looking at it. So I can keep that pattern on the shorts when I'm cutting them out. And so if I didn't mention that, I'm going to work on the shorts first. And I'm going to do the back side of the shorts first. Okay, so here we have the back of the shorts. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to fold them so that I can get a pattern for them. And so this is how I'm going to lay my pattern out. Now back here, this seam in here, if you can see this in the crotch area here, it goes further around. So what I did is I measured that area. So from where my fold is to the end right here is about roughly 1.25 inches. So I'm going to take that and then I'm going to add another 1/4 for seam allowance. And then because I'm making them bigger, I'm going to just add 2 inches. So I'm going to add another 1/2 inch. And so that's what I'm going to do for that. So when I go to cut it out, I'm just going to add that on over here. So let me get them folded just right, the way that I want them. Make sure the seams are straight. Make sure the fabric is stretched out, because this is like a t-shirt jersey kind of material, and this cotton is not going to stretch. So I want to make sure that this is completely stretched out the best that I can get it. And so what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to pin that down, and then I'm going to cut it out. When I cut it out, I'm going to allow a 1/4 inch seam allowance, and then I'm going to allow a 1/2 inch for extra length and for extra width. And so that's what I'm going to do. Okay, so I have the shorts cut out, and here on the inside here, I did not add the extra like 1/2 inch because I want these shorts to be bigger. I did not add it here because then that would be a whole extra inch, and I think that's just a little bit too big. So on the inside here, I just cut this, I just kind of eyeballed it. I did a 1/4 inch roughly seam allowance here. And so that's all I did there, because I just think I think that'd make them too big. So, and I measured that and put that on there. Now I'm going to unpin this, and I'm going to turn around so I can do the front side. Actually, no, I'm not. Okay, so now I kind of have this pattern right here that I've made with this material. I'm going to unpin the old pajama shorts, and I'm going to take this new fabric and I'm going to mirror image it for the other side of the back. So I'm just going to flip it over, and then I'm going to cut around it to make the other side for the back. Okay, so now I'm going to make the front. Now you can see how the front of the shorts is shorter than, the back side of the shorts. So I'm going to turn them the opposite way. I'm going to fold them like that. Like I had them kind of the opposite way I've had them for the back. And then you can see all this extra material for the back side. So what I'm going to do to make it easier is I'm just going to kind of flip that under so it doesn't show. Kind of like that, so I can kind of see where my line needs to be a little bit better. Like that. There we go, and I'll make sure it's nice and flat. Okay, so now this edge, we had to add extra. This time I'm just going to make sure that I'm going to go up to this seam right here, and then I'm just going to cut from there. So I just won't add this extra piece onto there. So let me get it positioned over here. Make sure these have shifted a little bit. Okay, so now I have it where I want. I'm going to fold it back in again so I can get that out of the way. Stretch that out to where it needs to be. Now, another thing you could do is you could take one of these pins and you could just trace around this. You could do that as well. I have done that before, but I don't know. I think I like this way better. Okay, so now I'm just going to pin it and cut it up. Now, this is not ideal to work on top of this bed, on top of this quilt, but my daughter's doing an art project on the table right now, and I don't want pastel chalk dust on my fabric. So I'm doing it on my bed, and I'm being very careful not to pin the quilt to my fabric and not to cut my quilt as well. Now, just like before, I'm going to unpin it. I'm going to flip it over to make a mirror image, and then we'll have the shorts all cut out. Okay, now it's time to put them together. And so this is my front. I marked the front and the back just in case I don't get them mixed up. So I'm going to want to sew right sides together. And so I'm going to do the kittens first. And I'm just going to fold that over like so. Oh, you can't see it, can you? Okay, I folded it over like that. Right sides together, and I'm going to sew this seam right here in the middle. Okay, so I'm about to sew it together, But I need to leave up here at the top. This is the top of the waist. And I need to leave 1/4 of an inch. I'm going to kind of eyeball that. And then I'm going to take my elastic here, which is 3/4 of an inch. And I'm just going to kind of see where that's going to lay right there. If you can see that. And so I'm going to start stitching right about here, and right under this elastic here. There we go. Oh, it's gonna be so cute. Okay, so I'm gonna do the same thing to the back now. So I think I'm gonna clip this curve here with my scissors, just so it will lay better. I'm not good at folding it and doing that. I know you can fold it and clip it, but that's not how I usually do it. I do it the hard way. There we go. So that's how I normally do it. Do one more. It also might be a good idea sometimes when I'm making stuff, especially for children, sometimes I'll do a double seam around here for this, but I'm hoping that it'll be okay. I'm trying to decide if I want to press these seams flat or how I want to do that. I kind of have an idea of what I want to do. My daughter really is particular about seams and things touching her. Like, I've made her stuff before and she's like, it's itchy because the seam in the side where I serged it, or didn't serge it, but I zigzagged it. So I think I'm going to press these flat, and I think I'm going to use this stuff that I used when I mended my green dress. I think I might use this to bond these edges down to stay flat, and hopefully they won't fray. And maybe that will work. I think I'm going to try that this time around. So I'm going to go do that. I'm going to press the seams flat on the front and on the back pieces before I sew anything else together, because I think it'll be easier if I do it now than after I've sewn more of the shorts together. The hem glue stuff worked really well, I think. I'll bring it in here a little closer so you can see. And so the one that I had was a 1/2 inch wide, so I had to cut it in half. And I just put it under here and then folded that over and pressed it down. And that feels really good. It's really flat. So I think that is a good solution. And also, another thing is that if you've ever made a casing for the elastic, sometimes this stuff can fray and get caught up in there, and it's not going to do that because it's all glued down. So hopefully taking that little extra step in time to do that might work well for when I get ready to do the elastic. I haven't done that before, so that's kind of new. It did put a lot of wrinkles into the fabric here, but that's okay. Okay, so now I'm just going to put right sides together here So you can see the shorts here. So I'm going to sew the side seams. So now I have ironed all the way around here. I ironed down a seam allowance and I made the casing for the elastic. So I'm just going to sew this down at 1/4 inch. And I am playing chicken with my bobbin here because it's nearly out, but I think I might have enough to go around these little shorts. We'll see. Fingers crossed. Okay, so I have my elastic here, and what I do is, this is how my mom taught me, I just put a safety pin in the end of it, and then I'm going to slide it under this little flap that we made, and I'm going to slide it in there, and I'm just going to keep pulling it in. And there we go. So I'm just going to keep doing that and gathering it up. Okay, so now I have my elastic here. It's all the way through, and I'm just going to sew these two ends together. Now I'm just going to close up this little hole right here. Okay, now the only thing left to do here is the edge of the leg. So I've pressed it under already with the iron. I'm doing 1/4 of an inch seam allowance here, and I'm just going to sew that down and we'll be done with these little shorts. Okay, let's see how they look. I think I should have made them a little bit longer, but hopefully they'll be okay. Just gonna trim off some threads here. Okay. So there they are. That glue in the seam makes them a little stiff and makes them a little bit weird, I think. But I'm gonna have her try them on and make sure that they fit her before I make the pink cheetah ones. But otherwise, I think they're really cute. Okay, everybody, I think I'm going to end the video here because this video is getting very long. And so I'm going to do the pajama top in a separate video and call it part 2. I'm going to give some of my final thoughts on these shorts. They turned out okay. They're a little bit shorter than what I wanted. They are about the same as these little pajama shorts. They're about the same. And they're okay. When I added the extra inch up here, I think I added 3/4 of an inch and then plus 1/4 of an inch for a seam allowance. But that basically took up this whole elastic. So if I wanted them to be longer, I should have added a little more here or up here to compensate for that. But I mean, I think they're fine. Also, another thing I wanted to mention is that they fit. I let my daughter try them on, and they fit her, but they're kind of snug. And even though I added the extra 1/2 inch on the side seams here, when I made the pattern, I added an extra 1/2 inch on each one. And so I thought that would have been enough because these shorts are stretchy, and this material is not stretchy. And I thought that would be enough, but it was not. So just note that you would need to add, I should have added at least an inch or maybe 2 to each side, or 2 total. So an inch on each leg, on each side right here, and maybe a 1/2 inch in this middle seam here. That might have worked better and been more what I wanted for her. But I mean, they do fit, but I just wanted them to be a little bit bigger. So it worked out. They look cute. I'll show you the back side here. So yeah, I mean, it could have been better. This video is not meant to be a how-to tutorial. This is just how I'm doing it. And so just keep that in mind. You know, I make mistakes all the time, and I'm always trying to be better, and I think that I should have done that and it would have been better. So going forward, in the future, I don't think I'm going to use something stretchy as a pattern. I mean, you can use it and it will come out okay, but it's kind of a gamble of how much you need to add to make them to be the same size that these are when the child is wearing them, because this stretches and this doesn't. And it's kind of hard to gauge that, because depending on the shorts, you don't know how much give or how much stretch it's going to be, you know? So I think I will just play it safe next time. I knew that might happen, but I'll play it safe next time. And I'm just going to use a pair of shorts that is not stretchy, which is hard for me and my daughter because she wears a lot of stretchy, like gym shorts, because that's what she likes to wear. And so anyway, with that said, I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope it gave you some ideas. I'm really want to thank all the people who have subscribed to my channel. It's so fun to know that I'm just gaining a community of people that like to do the same things that I like to do. And so I really appreciate all of those who have hit that subscribe button. And I will see you in the next video. Bye.